All right.
Let's
Well,
do
I
it.
am.
This week on the No More Late Fees podcast, Jackie's childhood bestie, Nick, is back to be lovingly tormented by us. Welcome, Nick.
Yay, it's good to be back. I love the torment. It's fun. This is
And we love to torment you, so it's
We
a
do.
beautiful relationship.
these years.
Our group name on Instagram is literally called the James Bond
Super fans.
Super. Danielle and I have never watched a James Bond. Well, I guess Danielle has, but not in a while. I've never watched a James Bond movie, and so we just troll him with GIFs of spy movies that are not James Bond.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I am still a part of this group. I don't know what I'm about.
I love that chat. It's very fun. It expands beyond just the James Bond stuff. And I think we had the chat before we discovered that we've never seen James Bond, but it feels fitting to have that name now.
It does.
It's a good time.
Are you saying that you are now James Bond super fans? Is that what I just heard? That's what I heard. That's what I heard. I heard you're a super fan.
I will say I tried really hard to like this movie.
I like the James Bond movie with Jackie Chan and Jennifer Love Hewitt. That one was really fun. What's that one called?
The hell are you talking about?
There is a spy
The Tuxedo?
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm actually trying to is that probably one of the Pierce Brosnans, right? Because most of them are
Gotcha
unbelievable. Stop it.
Off to a great start.
Well, how's everything going? How's the schooling of the young minds of America going?
Oh, you picked a great day to ask me that question. That is an offline story. It's fine. It's good. It's good. It's fun. I love being an educator. It's always new. It's always fresh. It's always exciting. There's always something to talk about. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel good. Life is good. The sun is shining. Kids are happy. Family is good. Education is complicated and challenging, but it's still good. Things are good.
You sound like Ross.
Ross, yes. I'm like, am I trying to convince you or myself that
I'm fine.
I'm fine. No, things are good, and it's I'm feeling good. Happy to be here. This is great day.
And we're excited because we get to see you twice this year because we have another movie scheduled later down. We'll keep that as a surprise for the listeners. It may be a surprise for you too, because I'm not sure. Did we tell him, Jack?
It's a surprise to me. I was like, wait, what?
Twice in 1 year? And it is one of your favorite movies.
Yeah.
Would you venture a guess?
Oh, is it one of the staff picks that I've done before?
I believe so.
Probably, yeah. Just whatever is the top of your mind that came up first.
The first ones that came up to mind were Swingers.
No, not yet.
Or that might be too early. That might be before your window. Is it Almost Famous?
It is not.
Where are these coming from?
I know these are Nick movies, but it is not the one. So if you want to know what movie we're doing with Nick towards the end of the year,
his very excited reaction,
subscribe to our Patreon.
Give me that calendar invite right now so I can circle the whole week.
I want to say it's like one of the last.
It's at the end of the year. I think.
So we'll probably record in early November so we can knock them all out before.
I'll give you the whole month. I'm ready.
We have a new game.
Ooh.
Okay. The game part of this is my third time here. The game part is the thing that always makes me the most anxious. I'm like, let's talk about the movie, but oh no, what game are we gonna play? Oh no.
We've been doing games that are, I feel, a little less stressful. So we are just going to do a listicle kind of our top 3 favorite spies or spy movies.
I would say Spies. And
then
there are some groupings, if possibilities. So I understand and I'm okay with that personally.
Okay. So everyone take a second, think of yours, have backups, because if someone says yours, you have to be able to pivot. I have to Google Spies.
This is the first time I was prepared after writing the question.
Nice.
So I have my list.
Are we staying in our time frame or can we go outside?
We can go outside, but man, our time frame has some fun ones. And mine are just as unhinged as when we did villains.
And when you say group, like if it's like a trio, we're counting the whole thing. Got it. Okay.
I already knew which one you were gonna pick, and so I was trying to let you know it's fine to do all three.
Actually, you are going to probably be surprised at my number one.
I have a feeling that you're gonna have one of mine, and I'm gonna lose my shit, but it's gonna be fun. So we'll start with you, Nick, and you say your first one.
Okay, let's see. I'll make my first one. Can we do like a duo? Can we make a pair?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going with Agents J and K from Men in Black.
Ooh,
that's a good one. Totally forgot about them.
Yeah, I did too, until I was like, oh, now I got a list. Now I'm ready. But yeah, Agents J and K from Men in Black.
How about you, Jackie?
Eggsy / the Kingsman from the Kingsman series.
Good one.
I was gonna go with Harry Hart / Eggsy, but I didn't want to take it from you. I knew you'd want that one.
Thank you.
My first pick is Charlie Baltimore from Long Kiss Goodnight.
Ooh, that one's good.
I love her. All right, Nick, your number two.
All right, I'm gonna go with another kind of deep cut, but one that I love, very dear to my heart. Harry Tasker from True Lies, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in True Lies.
Mine next is Yelena Belova. Black Widow.
From Black Widow. Okay.
I have a very deep obsession with Florence Pugh, and I think she's fantastic in that role.
Mine is Harriet, the spy.
I knew that was coming.
Is she a spy or a nosy Karen ready to grow up? Tomato. All right, Nick, what's your third pick?
All right. I'm wondering if I should just like not pick James Bond just so I make one of you pick James Bond.
I don't think we're not picking James Bond. No. So if you want him on the list.
Wow. Didn't even have it as a backup.
Nope.
Wow.
And I can't wait to read my backups because you're going to be like, you didn't have James Bond, but you had these. Yes.
Wow. All right. Well, fuck you both. James Bond. Unbelievable. All right, fine. Yeah, James Bond.
Do you have a favorite James Bond?
Ooh, so that's I think it's got to be Daniel Craig. Connery is good and classic, but like some of the later Connerys slip really into like, we'll probably get into this but like racism and sexism, and like it gets bad in like the last 3 Connery ones. I'm like, oh, that's kind of gross. And Connery, like the early Connerys, they don't have the action. Like he's not a great action star.
No.
Where I think Daniel Craig kind of hits all the boxes quite a bit better. So I got to go Daniel Craig. Got to give it to Daniel Craig. It's the best.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm going 2000s Charlie's Angels.
Love it.
Okay. That's a good pick.
That was one of, let me take that off the list. Okay. All right. Whew. This is hard. It's hard, but I'm going to go with Jane Smith from Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I'm fine with her lying to her husband. Him, on the other hand, side eye. You guys want to hear my backups?
Yes, please.
I've got Jason Bourne from Bourne Identity.
He was my backup too.
Xander Cage from Triple X.
Why?
Carmen and Junie from Spy Kids. I love that movie. I don't care.
I thought about, I've never watched Spy Kids, but I'm like, the Spy Kids would be a good one for this list if I had seen it.
And lastly, Agent Cody Banks.
I was going to say, if you're going to say Spy Kids, you got to say Agent Cody Banks.
Oh, Frankie Muniz.
But I kept mine all ladies. All right, so now we have the hard task of ranking these bad boys.
Real quick, just my backup. No love for Ethan Hunt. Mission Impossible.
We don't love Tom Cruise on this pod.
Well, I didn't say Tom Cruise. I said Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible.
What's the difference?
Yeah. Well,
I dare you to tell me.
Fair point.
And the opening scene where he's jumping from a motorcycle into an airplane, I'm like, oh, so that's where we get all the Mission Impossible stunts from.
Okay.
I got it.
Once again, we'll talk about this. I'm going to starting off this list, you got to put James Bond number one, because none of everything else exists without James Bond. Like what you just said, like, oh, like, yeah, James Bond did it first. Like all the spy shit, James Bond did it first.
But did James Bond find out what was happening in the entire neighborhood with just one notebook?
I'm going Harriet the Spy last.
Y'all are haters. The way she slapped that girl at her school, that was an action scene to be seen, okay? Fine, I'll take it.
Yeah, I was
Fine.
gonna say, somebody's got to be last. And it's not that we hate Harriet the Spy. It's like,
No.
how are you going to put her up against these others? Come on. Come on.
Fine, fine.
Okay. Have any standouts for number one, maybe?
Do we? Do we?
I would say that, yes, James Bond. I would say James Bond, Charlie's Angels, and I have to fight for Charlie Baltimore because from a female standpoint, like Gina Davis getting that movie, it didn't do well box office wise, but the stunts that she did, she really paved the way for more action movies for females. I mean, obviously we had Linda Hamilton and Sigourney Weaver, but like in that movie, and she had a bunch of movies in that time frame where she was doing a lot of action movies. I just thought she was amazing in that movie.
I agree that I feel like Charlie Baltimore should be top 3. Agents J and K are up there for me.
Yeah.
And I agree that James Bond should probably be top 3.
So let me throw this out.
Okay.
See how we're feeling on this. So like one, if we go like 1 is Bond, 2 Charlie's Angels, 3 Charlie Baltimore, 4 J and K.
I would say Charlie Baltimore 2, then Charlie's Angels, then J and K.
So fine. 1 we'll have James Bond. Got it.
Thank you.
2, Jackie, are we doing Charlie's Angels or Charlie Baltimore?
I would say Charlie Baltimore.
Okay.
And then Charlie's Angels for number 3. Then we said Agents J and K for number 4.
Are we okay with that? I just kind of threw that out there.
No, we like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay.
All right.
We're not as combative today. It's Friday.
It made logical sense to me.
Yeah, even though Danielle can't watch that movie.
It's hard. It's just so many creepy crawlers. I'm glad we're over it. I'm glad we finished it. Oh man.
I am always going to advocate for
Eggsy.
Eggsy.
I very much love the Kingsman, and it's because of my Colin Firth love. And I do love. I really, really like
Taron Egerton.
I also am hoping and rooting that he may be the new Wolverine.
Okay,
I mean,
so
he's
Eggsy
not
is
sure enough, but yeah.
Okay, feel good about that.
Yeah.
I think
It's a
Harry
toss-up.
Tasker is a really good. Like,
Yeah, I personally find it to be one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
mhm.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. True Lies is one of the, it's a comfort movie for me. It's just so fun, and it's, I don't know, that character, Harry Tasker, like I think he does both things really well. Like there's so many spy movies we don't see their like non-spy life. And I think True Lies and Harry Tasker, like it's kind of ridiculous. Like, I don't know. But it's in the sort of like James Bond tradition of like there's some ridiculousness in it, there's some like absurdity in it. Arnold freaking Schwarzenegger is selling computer software, and like he comes to his wife and he's just like, oh yeah, business trip, like look at this man, like
it's
you're
kind
really
of like
this.
Yeah, you're right, it does have like a whole James Bond thing. And when we were talking about it in the episode, it was so crazy to find out that they had to change the script of GoldenEye to not be as closely related to True Lies, that they almost made the same movie essentially. Yeah. So
I mean, it is interesting, like being James Bond in the history of James Bond, like making the same movie over and over again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Both the James Bond and all the various like spin-offs, like we're just making the same movie. But I don't know. Anyways, yeah. Like True Lies, I think it's a classic though. I love it. And Harry Tasker is a great spy.
Elena, I think she's great. I in the Black Widow movie, I was always disappointed we didn't get more of her, but I knew it was because we were going to see her in other projects. It was more of like an introduction.
She was great in Hawkeye. Like she was a lot of fun.
Yes, the
Yeah, where
TV.
she's
Yeah.
making the mac and cheese.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun, and I'm very excited to see her in Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
With my boo Harrison Ford.
By the way, I have a Yelena Funko Pop. That's how much I love her.
Ah.
So Yelena 7, Jane Smith 8. Are we good with that?
Yeah, like if it was any other Angelina Jolie role, I would have fought harder for it. But
Yeah.
I don't think this is like one of those movies where it's so her kicking ass that I'm okay with her being 8. Harriet the Spy, I'm upset.
I'm sorry. Okay, so our top 9 is number 1, James Bond. 2, Charlie Baltimore. 3, Charlie's Angels from 2000. 4, Agents J and K. 5, Eggsy. 6, Harry Tasker. 7, Yelena Belova. 8, Jane Smith. And 9, Harry the Spy. At least she's on the list.
Whatever. I don't like participation awards.
Hey, tell that to all your backups that didn't even make it on the list, right?
That's true. I'm sure Marley is laughing right now that I even said Xander Smith for AAA.
Who do you think would have played a great James Bond in the 90s or 2000s?
Dun, dun, dun. I really would have loved to see, damn it, where did his name go? Come back. Back.
I think that
Wolverine. Sorry.
Oh, Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
I would have loved to see him. I know that if he had been in it, we would have probably never gotten him to be Wolverine, but I don't know. I think he would have done great.
That's a good pick. That's a strong pick. I like the first name that popped into my head was Will Smith. Was like he's a little, I don't know. Like I think he could have. I think the thing that he would be missing in his like repertoire is like the kind of debonair kind of element. But I think he has it. Like he could have done it. He didn't really do it in like Men in Black, Independence Day, like those kind of action adventure films that he was doing at the time. But I think we saw him do it later in his career.
And Focus, I think, is probably the closest we got to it.
Yeah.
He's Black. And let me tell you, if I've learned anything from watching these fandoms and how toxic it is, and when they switch the races of some of these characters that are cartoons and not real people and based in any reality, you saw them lose shit over a mermaid. James Bond is so ingrained in
Whiteness.
pop culture and whiteness.
Yeah.
I know eventually they're going to try. Like, look what happened when they had not even James Bond, but that the girl who was one of the agents that was in that last movie with him, they lost their shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And at that time too, like I would have loved it. I agree with your pick. I just think that it would have been a nightmare for Will Smith, even it being Will Smith.
Right. It would have been good for the world, but real bad for Will Smith. Like that was real bad. And yeah, like it's similar with James Bond. Like now, like I know because there's like a 4 or 5 year gap between the 4th and 5th Daniel Craig movies. And so there's a lot of names being floated about who's gonna be the next James Bond if it's not Daniel Craig. And Idris Elba was a name that kept coming up to like take over as James Bond. And like every time someone posted a blog, here's the 5 actors most likely to be the next James Bond, and Idris Elba was on the list, it got just
nasty
on fire. Yeah. So it's like I get that it's not a probable pick and not but I'm like, but the question is who would have played a great Bond?
You're
and
right.
Like,
yeah.
Will Smith was the first name that came to mind. Like the man can wear a suit. The man can like pretend like he's holding a gun. Like he can, he can do it.
You're right. He would have been very good at it. I agree 100%. And I wish that it would have been possible. Like totally. And also we've never had an American play.
Yeah. Good point.
So I think he did play a spy at one point in the 90s, and I totally forgot to include him in my list. But Val Kilmer, I think he had the swagger, he had the charm, he had the looks. I think he could have pulled off James Bond.
100%. Yeah, that's a good one.
But like I feel like Val Kilmer, like in the roles that I've seen him, he like oscillates so he either would have been like a great James Bond or like the worst.
Have you seen The Saint?
Yes, that's so good.
Okay, so rewatching it now, it's like this is kind of dumb, but like he is great in the role, and I feel like it's very James Bond-esque. He just has more costumes and disguises than James Bond does. James Bond just walks in and is like, I know you know me. I'm here.
Right. He really is not trying to hide a damn thing. And if that's not white man privilege, I don't know what is. Oh man. Well, Nick, you know what time it is. It's time to pick your employee picks.
If we're gonna tease the Patreon folks, I feel like I already picked my employee pick. Like, so I'd be silly to go back. Yeah, Life Aquatic. I love me some Wes Anderson. Love me some Life Aquatic. I'll keep it in the drama zone, and we'll go Almost Famous. I think that one I've like watched it a little bit here and there, and I think it still holds up. Like it's a great coming of age story, and I like that one a lot. Oh,
Never seen it.
so that's not like I don't think like that's a I'm gonna torture Danielle by making her watch it movie. I think that's like
No.
that, you should watch that. It is a good film.
Yeah, we have to start thinking about our next year movies, and I think that's going to be pretty high on my list because I always like to save movies and not, if I haven't seen them in a long time, like not watch them until we're ready to watch them for the podcast. So they're like, the reaction is very fresh, but I think that would be a good one for sometime next year.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do this one. Just this is me now trolling. Out Cold. We're putting Out Cold on the list.
Yes! We're
Guess
doing
what?
that movie this year.
I know.
That
Yeah.
I am so excited. And I don't know why in my brain I think Danielle's never seen it. She has seen it, which is why her reaction is such. And I'm so excited to just quote the shit out of that movie and
It
sing all
is.
the Eve 6 songs.
Oh God. I remember when I found out you're doing Out Cold, I started listening to the soundtrack again and just like belting like I love me some E6. I love that soundtrack. But Out Cold the movie is one of those ones like I think it goes like it like the meter goes all the way back around. Like it goes so bad that it actually somehow becomes good again.
I agree.
If you have some hot opinions on our spy list, on James Bond, on the picks that we came up with of who could have been James Bond, whatever you want to give you a hard opinion about, make sure you hit us up at No More Late Fees on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Threads. And it's Pride Month, and we're doing a deep dive into Tu Wong Fu next week. Don't miss it. Plus, if you haven't listened to our GoldenEye episode with Nick yet, make sure you go back and check it out.
And as always, be kind and rewind.